fuck, you're old.
Damn it, Wade!
And welcome to the Old Man Wade Show. I'm your host, the God of Struggle, the Lord of Laughter, Old Man Wade. I'm sitting here in my lovely life.
Hey.
With her normal enthusiasm as always. And we are laying in bed. I forgot my wife had this random... What is this thing called? This little floaty...
It's a lap desk?
I never heard of a lap desk, but apparently we have a lap desk. And...
I mean, it's not that serious. It's literally a fucking hard surface with the pillow on the bottom of it.
I just didn't know we had one. Like, I would have been using this when I have to come in the room and record. I would have been using this for a long time. And granted, I've seen it. I just didn't have any idea what it was. But now that I know what it is, I will be using this more often. Because it is awesome.
Okay.
So, let's get right down to it. I've been trying to wait for people to finish the show so I can give a full episode review on Invincible. So it's over. We know what happened. If you didn't know what happened, then skip to the next part. Because we're going to be talking about it. But before we talk about what happened, Valkyrie, what did you think of it?
I never read the comic. Like, you told me about the comic. I thought it was great. I liked how edgy it was and, like, how brutal it was. Like, they didn't hold anything back. I liked the storyline. I thought it was really good. I was confused about some of it, but we talked about that. About, like...
So what are some things that you could think of offhand that you're confused about? Because it could help some people who didn't know what was going on as well.
Well, not confused by the show itself, but like stupid stuff. Like we had the conversation the other day. Why didn't his father raise him, knowing letting him know who he was, if he wanted him to have the same stance as him and kill humanity? Like, you can't raise your child to love and nurture and like grow in a community and then be like, okay, fuck those people, we're gonna kill all of them.
Fuck them kids.
It'd be like getting your kid to like fall in love with a little piggy and then slaughtering him for bacon and making him eat it. Like, you can't let them become attached. Like,
yeah. So when we discussed this was one of the things that comes into play later on in the show, where he talks about how, like, meeting his wife and living with his life and living among people caused him to raise him a certain way because he started seeing the benefits of humanity and things of that nature. But with the Viltrum, the planet he's from, that his, like, I guess his more his Viltrum instincts kicked in. All he could think of, this is what my purpose is. This is what my purpose is. Like the nature versus nurture thing. Which one's stronger? You know what I mean? So go ahead.
Sorry, no, you can. I was gonna say my question is why did he all of a sudden decide that he had to go back to like hating humanity? Did I miss something?
His DNA kicked in. Like it was just kind of like, it was a completely emotional response when he had two warring thoughts inside of his head. Like, you know what I mean? At one point, it was his heart telling him that this is... Actually, you don't even know whether it was his heart obviously said Viltrum, but on the other hand, his heart said, let me not continue to beat the shit out of my son because I'm going to kill him.
Well, no, I meant, like, in general, for him to just, like, flip the script, like, back to... Like, you were saying he let his son grow up in it because, like, he... I don't know, I guess, like, fell in love with it, not really, like, the...
Well, so, like, why did
humanity and stuff, like, how and why did he... Like, why was it the time, all of a sudden, for him to kill everyone?
Because as soon as he realized he had his powers, it was time for him to train them, and if there was anybody that was going to stop him, then it would be the Guardians of the Globe.
Oh, no, wait, because his son, he was waiting for his son's powers to kick in.
Or whether or not... He didn't even know if they were going to have powers or not.
And whether or not he was going to have to kill him because he's going to be a regular human?
Yes. Well, I don't think he would have killed him because obviously he was 17 at the time, and I guess Viltrum's powers kick in. I want to say almost immediately, so there was no guarantee that he was going to get powers. So from the looks of it, it seems that like he just would have been fine with just living a normal life, continuing to be Omni-Man, strongest person on the planet.
Then why? That's what I mean. Why did he all of a sudden decide to kill everybody? Did you get a message? Like,
No, there were no messages. From what it looks like, he just got emotional. Like, on one hand, it was anger. It was like, I can't believe that my son is defying me. You know what I mean? Because he was just going to have a conversation. It seemed like eventually he was just going to have a conversation.
No, I mean, like, starting off the whole killing of the Guardians, starting off with the whole...
So, like, so, again, his, I guess, programming might be the right word for his programming kicked in, and he was like, okay, well, time to get started and doing what I was supposed to be doing when I was here. You know what I mean?
Because his son got his powers.
Yes.
So he was just waiting for that.
Yes.
Okay.
And eventually, as we saw at the end of the show, after, Omni-Man beat the dog shit out of Invincible. Like, that was brutal. That train scene?
Yeah.
He just...
I mean, it made sense, though. Like, you were like, oh, whoa. I was like, I mean, if you're trying to get a point across, I guess it's a great way to get the point across. Like,
he just held his kid and just didn't even move. Didn't even, like, force him into the train. He just held his head and was just like, this is going to happen. So, and he was killing people with his kid's face.
Yeah.
It was brutal, but it was more the idea of it was his father doing this to him. Because the scene where he killed the Guardians of the Globe was definitely more ruthless than that scene he fought with. Like, you know, there was more collateral, there was more damage caused by their fight. But still, this is his son beating him. And then he goes, why not? He starts beating him. What's another 17 years? I can have another one. This was nothing to me. I'm like, damn, man.
Yeah.
But I will say this, at the end of it, he goes, in 500 years when everyone's dead, what will you have? He goes, you, Dad, I'll have you. And I was like, aw. And then he was just like, fuck this, I'm out. Like, it was like he couldn't deal with the emotions and just flew away.
I mean, well, because children change your mindset and your thought process and your...
I honestly loved it as a comic book fan, as someone who's... Invincible is my favorite comic book series of all time. And I love the series. Watching it again, it was still just as good to me. It made me excited to see what they were going to change going forward. Some of the, I actually wrote an article on this, on some of the things that were actually changed in this, and among them was a lot of stuff happened after Nolan left Earth. For example, Robot getting his new body. That happened after Nolan left. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that may have happened. Mark was already in college. I think Mark was in college when the Reaniman came in. Mark was already in college.
The Reaniman.
The dude who brought up those corpses and...
Was he already in college?
No, in the comic book he was already
in
college.
I'm like, wait, I'm so confused. He wasn't in college in the show. Okay.
So there was...
Sorry, for the dummies in the back who don't know anything about the comic, you have to be a little bit more specific. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's not in college.
Yeah, I probably should have been way more specific than that. I actually have an article that I wrote about that. The Mauler twins accepted the offer from Robot and asked him to help for the device. In the comic books, the Mauler twins just created the device themselves. Granted, the same result was Immortal. If it's not working, Immortal breaking it and coming back. And he needs a new name because he's totally not immortal.
Well, yeah, no shit. I think that's like the oxymoron, though, right? Like,
same thing with Invincible.
Like, yeah, neither is either. Like, it's kind of a moot point. Like, yeah, he's now died twice.
The idea that it was sped up. Oh, just for the people who didn't catch on to this, Immortal was, I believe he was Julius Caesar, and he was also Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, throughout time.
Yes. And there's actually a part in the comic book where he talks about knowing that John Wilkes Booth was going to shoot him, but he felt bad he was like, I felt bad for my friend after that, but knowing that it would have raised suspicions if I didn't die, so he kind of let him kill him and he came back or whatever. Like I said, some stuff is sped up and slowed down. One of the things I wrote was there are 25 volumes of the Invincible comic book series. That's not including the companion comic books to the tie-in story. There's absolutely no way of adapting the level of source material directly, no matter how long Invincible runs for. It would simply take too long, perhaps coming off a bit clunky and not at all of the events that would translate well. Let's see, father versus son. So the final fight scene between Omni-Man and Invincible was much more aggressive and bloodier in the show than it was in the comic book.
Okay.
It's something as simple as, remember when Omni-Man has Mark and he like slams him through the cruise ship?
Mm-hmm.
In the comic, he just slams him into the bottom of the ocean.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it was just kind of wasn't one of those things. Titan wasn't a family man in the comic book. He was just kind of an ass. He wanted power. He wanted to be Titan's a rock dude.
Oh, okay.
Titan wasn't like a family man. He wasn't an honorable person.
I like that they made him like...
I dig it. I have no...
I mean, I don't know the comics, so I can't really, like...
He's a better character here. Trust and believe.
I just, like, I like his character. You know what it is? They make you like him, and then they make him, like, the head of, the, like, you know, the crime syndicate. Like...
Yeah.
But, like, you like him. You like his child. Like, you feel, like, happy for them that they're getting this better life. Like, which is crazy, right? Because he's a bad guy that literally just killed everybody so that he could become the head of, like, whatever. But they give him, like, humanity, I guess I should say.
Yeah, it makes sense. Damien Darkblood wasn't an idiot in the series. In the comic book, he came back, like, a year later and goes, I found out that Omni-Man killed the Guardians of the Globe. And when the chef was like, yeah, we've known that for months. And they just laughed at him. The robot became, I already mentioned that he was already, he came into play a lot later in the comic book.
So do they end up, I mean, I guess I have to wait for the second season, but do they end up, does him and Beast Girl actually end up?
Beast Girl?
Or whatever, Monster Girl?
Oh, Monster Girl? Yeah,
Sorry.
you have to wait to see it. I was like, Beast Girl, I think that's an actual comic character. Amber in the comic book is white. Shrinking Ray in the comic book is a dude. So they switched those two around. Not really a big deal, but I think it was cool that they have more inclusiveness in the show. Mm-hmm. So I'm with that, especially because it doesn't really affect the flow of the show, the point of the show. So changing those characters didn't really... It was a big deal, but it wasn't a huge deal. You know what I mean? Like
it didn't fuck up the storyline.
Exactly.
You were still able to maintain.
Oh.
It's because they were trying to, like, get away from probably having an all-white pasty cast.
Yeah.
They realize, and, you know, with only penises, because they realize that there's more than just white people who are men.
Mark's best friend, William, was in the closet up until towards the end of the comic book series.
Mm-hmm. But in the show, he was always out, right?
He was always out. So that was one other thing they changed, but I feel that a lot of it had to do with, they made a couple of offensive jokes to the, like, you know, when people would say, oh, that's so gay.
Yeah.
They took that out because, you know, reading it now, I'm like, ooh, they should be saying that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they took that out, which I thought was good. It's like, make William gay right from the beginning.
Yeah, no, they're trying to do this with a conscience.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and lastly, the rampage that Nolan went on in the 7th episode was not in the comic book at all.
The rampage.
When Cecil was trying to kill him.
Oh, yes.
That didn't happen in the comic book. They made Cecil a lot smarter. And they made him a lot more like Nick Fury in the sense that he didn't trust anything. Cecil wasn't trusting in the comic books, but here he was just
He's like skeptical of everyone.
Yeah,
I like it. He's smart. That's
yeah,
you should
be. He's also I think he's
trust no one.
I think he's one of the 2 or 3 best characters on the show, hands down.
No, I like him.
It's funny. The show's called Invincible. I think Invincible may be the 5th best person on that show. Like Debbie, Cecil. Probably Omni-Man and Amber, I think, are all... Not Amber, Adam Eve are all better than him.
I guess so, but I mean, I don't know. He hasn't really gotten a chance to build himself either. I feel like season 2 is going to be more his thing than anybody else. This was kind of like
building the entire world.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this, like, yesterday. What are your thoughts if they try to make this into a live action? Do you think that's possible?
I think it's too soon.
No, but not like right now, but like in the future.
I don't think it's a good idea. There's way too much that goes on. 25 volumes, not issues, people, volumes of comic books. And considering that each volume has at least 6 issues.
Could they do it as a live action TV show?
I don't know. I don't see...
I was just curious to see if they would do it. And like who they would cast for these characters and like...
I've actually seen a few. I've seen Henry Cavill playing Omni-Man. Mm-hmm. Because he's been Superman already. Just give him a big bushy mustache and gray him up a little bit. I saw John Hamm. I've seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
John Hamm is what?
Omni-Man. I've seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Omni-Man. That was also another good one. Which one?
John Hamm.
Yeah, John Hamm's good in everything.
I love John Hamm.
He's fucking great.
He's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, like it's funny because he can play. He can. We've seen him play drama in what's that show you like? Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Mad Men. Thank you.
I love that show.
He was great, and he was hilarious in The Incredible Kimmy Schmidt. He was hilarious in 30 Rock. Like, every time I see him, I love him, and every time I see him, he's phenomenal. Fucking John Hamm, he's great. And I especially love the fact that he doesn't take himself too serious. Like, he can just do stuff. So, I'm with it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we really need to talk about in terms of the show. Oh, the voice acting. So, one of the complaints that I've heard a lot of people have is the way the voices were dubbed.
Right.
It almost seemed as if the audio didn't match the mouth.
The visual? Like, why?
I don't know. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it either. But some people just paid closer attention than me.
Apparently.
I particularly just didn't notice, so this wasn't something.
Is it like a nanosecond? Like,
no, I noticed it a couple times.
I need to know. I need to watch it again and be like, wait. No.
I noticed it in episode 1 with Mark, but I didn't really notice it much more after that. Every so often I'd see it, but not enough that it would bother me.
Maybe it wasn't in the budget. Like next season, their mouths will match.
So I also now that you've seen Omni-Man and you've seen The Boys, who wins in a fight between Homelander and Omni-Man?
Oh, Omni-Man. He's definitely fucking wrecking that dude. And like I feel like, I mean, I don't know. Do they actually get into a fight or do they join forces? They're both fucking arrogant pieces of shit.
Well, the difference between Omni-Man and Homelander is Homelander is all about greed and Omni-Man's all about domination and control.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like Homelander would be in on that, like, and be okay with that because he would love to take over the world.
But like, so he killed everybody who was a threat to him.
Yes.
So you would assume Homelander would be on that level. But someone said to me that he wouldn't.
They would join forces. Man.
Someone says that Homelander wouldn't even like. Either they fought. He said Homelander wouldn't last more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, he has laser eyes. Like,
I mean, you see what a $4 billion laser did to Omni-Man. It did nothing.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, like it's not. He won't be phased. He's still like American. He's not. He's not an alien. Like, he doesn't have super alien powers.
He has super strength, though. He's like, close. I guess he's close to Superman, but
yeah, but it's kind of like the other one. He's not immortal. Like,
yeah,
he may think he is, but when you're fighting a lesser being than you, which is what he does, like, of course you're gonna have control and whatever.
God, it was so funny.
I think he would end up being like Omni-Man's bitch, like.
Oh my God, yes, like his
little yes man on the side,
his little lap dog.
Maybe kinda, not as much, and then he might get foul and try to talk shit, and then
get out of line and get spanked.
Yep, and by spanked I mean crushed head or something. Who knows?
Like I just don't even like. Someone said he would try to run away. I was like, yeah, and then Omni-Man would catch him, and then crush his head like he does everybody else. Like there's no chance. Alright, so that was our Omni-Man review. Oh, next up, thankfully, I asked Super Bowl Coffee, who hasn't been on the show in a little bit. I asked him to send me some audio on just anything. I was like, what do you have what's going on in your mind? Tell me what's going on. So I'm going to play it. We're going to stop a little bit to discuss it. Or we might just play it through and discuss it after. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl Coffee.
Hey, everybody. This is your friendly neighborhood Super Bowl speaking. And I'm tired, folks. I'm tired of people telling me that I can't disregard certain opinions. I'm tired of idiots, in my opinion, who think that just because someone thinks it is worth saying out loud.
All right,
Fuck that.
I want to stop right there. Because I agree with this wholeheartedly. Like, legitimately, it's okay to not talk. Sometimes it's what does Spider-Man say? Sometimes it's good to know when it's time to shut the fuck up. Like, every fleeting thought in your head does not need to be said.
In a world with QAnon, in a world where thousands of people ran up on the Capitol because they believed the big, giant lie, I don't know. Maybe we should be canceling some people. I mean, social media has been a lot better, in my opinion, since Trump's been gone. And even with him being gone, we still have people in power that are spreading his nonsense. Now listen, we've always had bad takes. We've always had bad opinions. But given the speed and the reach that these opinions have now with social media, if somebody's spreading a dangerous opinion, we need to squash that. We've seen the consequences of lies and conspiracy theories spreading like wildfire. These people straight up again ran up on the friggin' Capitol building. Like, what is this? Are we like in a banana republic country? Nah, man, this is the United States of America. We need to be above the fray. Leave all that nonsense to Russia, all that fake news, all those lies to prop up a demagogue, a wannabe dictator. Leave that to them, not us. We're not perfect. I'm a black man. Trust me, I know we're not perfect. But we do have ideals. At least I thought we did. And part of those ideals was truth. What do we have if we don't have truth? And don't get me wrong, I don't want the government run by one party. I don't want one opinion to reign over all opinions. I just want sane discussions. Now look, there's somebody out there right now who I disagree with 99% of the time. 100% of the time, fuck that. Liz Cheney. There's nothing she's ever said that I've ever agreed with when it comes to politics. But at least she's sane. And you know what that got her in today's world? That got her demoted. She used to be the third most powerful Republican in the country. But just because she decided that enough's enough, we need to stop lying to people, we need to start speaking the truth, her colleagues are trying to destroy her. That's the cost of treating every single opinion as equal. That's the cost of letting a lie spread without any controls. We need to do better, folks, or we're going to lose everything we gain in this country. Period.
Thank you, Super Woke. He got his sexy voice on because he just got back from work. He did that shit late at night, but I appreciate that. It was funny. I was expecting to be like I was expecting him to say something that one of us were going to debate with, and I have nothing. I agree with everything he said.
No, I definitely agree with it. I mean, not everything does need to be said. Not everything is truthful. Not everything is necessary. Like, some of it is just keep your mouth shut and walk on by.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like you said, things do not need to be said because it doesn't help the situation or give anything useful.
Yeah, like, I've said this on here multiple times, and I'll probably continue to say it, but the idea of not even replying on something, even when you feel that it could be a positive comment, if I see something and someone's quoting or tweeting something or posting something and I want to comment, if I have a feeling that what I'm saying may be misconstrued, I just don't say anything. I just keep scrolling. You know what I mean? I'd rather not say it because who knows who the fuck I'm going to offend. Like, you know what I mean? This person doesn't know me, like, intimately. And when I have conversations with people, when I see something, I want to have a conversation with someone that I know intimately, I don't need to do it on social media. I can hit them up directly.
Sure.
Or I could just, or if it's going to be on social, or if I only have their contact via social media, I will only comment via DM. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I can have a personal conversation with somebody. Lauren Shear, who's been on the show, she was saying that she thought this post was, I posted something about not wanting to, so I had to pause real quick, so I wanted to make sure I get her comment right. She said, sometimes I feel like this is me. My being a white girl who's never been punched in the face definitely comes out when I'm at a protest. Not very good at not talking back to assholes. Now see, this is different. This is absolutely different specifically because you're speaking to an asshole who's being an asshole. When I was talking about people who've never been punched in the face because there are no repercussions, I'm thinking about people who say this, who speak to people with the lack of respect when the respect is given, or someone who doesn't know how to lead and their only way of being in charge is through fear and intimidation. That doesn't work with a lot of people. Even people who aren't in charge. Like, if you come across somebody, you think the best way for them to get out of your ways, use fear in, fear tactics, sometimes that'll get you fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? But if you're protesting and Lauren's awesome. You know what I mean? So if she's protesting for something, it's definitely a worthy cause.
Mm.
So I don't really consider her being an asshole or something in this situation. What are your thoughts?
I think the same thing. Like, I think it's different. I get what she's saying though. Like, she doesn't have the fear because it's never happened to her. She doesn't, and she can't help herself.
Yeah.
But I think the sense that you're talking about is completely different.
Yes.
I feel like in your case, what you were talking about is someone who is entitled and makes dumbass comments because they don't know they can be fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely have come across people like that and let them know. Like, I will fucking smack the shit out of you.
Oh my God. What's that show we love? Dead Like Me, Jasmine
yes.
Guy. With all due respect, sir, I will fuck you up.
I literally, when somebody was messing with the dog the other day, told the kid, I will smack the shit out of you, and then you can go get your mother, and I'll beat her ass. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Because he was fucking with my dog. Don't fuck with my dog. Like, don't be a little dick. And don't think that I won't smack the fucking shit out of you. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like, if you're gonna come at me like that, I'm gonna come right the fuck back. And your little whiteness in West Roxbury is not gonna fucking save you. I don't give a fuck. I will smack the shit out of you. I don't give a fuck. And when they say, why'd you did it? Because he came at my dog. Like, I'll fuck you up. Because my dog won't, even though people want to pretend that pit bulls are vicious. They're not.
That vicious pit bull. Duke is the only time Duke is vicious when he's playing with his toy, and even then he's not vicious. We are back from a quick break. Valkyrie hadn't seen the trailer for Loki, so I wanted to make sure that she saw that. I had seen it already, but before we get into my thoughts, what did you think of the trailer?
It looks good. It almost has like a John Wicky type vibe, like that,
How so?
like that dark, like fighting, like against the time and people, and I don't know, just the vibe of it, or maybe what do you call it? Oh my God, I can't think of the name of it.
Quantum Leap. Did you mean John Wick or Bill and Ted?
No. I don't mean because of the time travel piece. I just mean about him being going after a cause or doing whatever.
But is he really going at a cause? Loki's cause is always Loki.
Yeah, true.
So I love it. I like that we're not. I like that Loki is still the exact same person that he was throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, nothing's changed. He's still an asshole. He's still sly. He's still slick.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't expect it to change, would you? Like he said, why would he ever trust him?
You've literally stabbed people
everybody in the back. Yeah.
No, he said, you've literally, I've started every moment of your life. You've literally stabbed 50 people in the back. But I won't do it again.
No, exactly.
I love it. I can't wait to see it. It's actually coming out June 11th. I have high hopes for it. I feel that this is going to be the most entertaining of the 3 Marvel series that we're getting this year.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision isn't going to... I think WandaVision was better than the Falcon and the Winter Soldier for a lot of reasons, but the Falcon and the Winter Soldier may have been more entertaining. I guess maybe because it was probably more fast-paced, you know what I mean? But if I had to watch one of them over again, I'd probably watch WandaVision.
That makes sense.
I feel like Loki's going to be... And what's funny about it is Loki has the potential to be a better show. You know what I mean? Like, it could be something that we look forward. It could be just as deep as WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of layers to Loki. He's not just the god of mischief. There's a lot going on in his mind with his insecurities, why he is the god of lies, the god of mischief. I feel like I heard at some point we're going to get Loki the woman, which is great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In that show?
Yeah, at one point.
Because the time is splintering?
Yeah.
Is it like an alternate
reality? But in comic book continuity, after Thor died and basically ended the line of Asgardians by, the cycle of Ragnarok. They die to come back, to die to come back.
Yes.
So Thor ended the cycle. So once you die, that's it. But once he came back, he was just like, now that you've ended the cycle, give the Asgardian warriors something to actually live for, knowing that if they die, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, so Loki comes back, and he comes back in Sif's body, and Thor is like was madly in love with Sif, and he came back looking like her. It was the biggest troll move I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, that's what he's all about, though, right?
Yeah.
He's like a big ass troll.
He's the god of trolls.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. But here's something that has been making its rounds in the comic book world. Loki was taken off the LGBTQ covers, and it was, and considering Loki.
Wait, what do you mean? Off of what? What do you mean by it?
So Marvel Voices is something that they do where a particular group of people have the opportunity to speak. Like they'll get LGBTQ characters as like the star of this particular series.
Okay.
So I want to say this month was Asian American Pacific Islanders month. So this month we saw was Jubilee was on there. Kamala Khan, I think Shang-Chi was on there. Black Voices, there was Monica Rambeau, I want to say Misty Knight and Luke Cage. So there's been, and it was a Indigenous Heritage Month. There was Echo, Warpath, and other Indigenous characters. So in this one, Marvel Voices was Pride.
Okay.
And on the cover, you had a bunch of LGBTQ characters.
Yeah.
Wiccan and Hulkling, Hercules. I hate to break it to you, bros. Hercules is bisexual.
I mean, if nobody knows that.
They're idiots because he's a Greek god and he's...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they were all fucking each other then, along with children? He's probably also a child molester.
Hercules is definitely not a child molester.
He's definitely not, you said?
Definitely not. Definitely not. So, in this particular... on this particular cover, there was Wiccan, Speed, Prodigy, America Chavez, and then Loki was supposed to be right next to America Chavez. Now,
why'd they take him out?
So the theory is that because of the Chinese or Asian market, that they took that off specifically because they don't like people in that particular area don't want they'll boycott a movie or won't show a movie because there is a gay kiss and things of that nature. So the idea is that they think they did this because it's so close to the Loki premiere that they want to make sure that they still hit that market as well. It's not a far-fetched thing, believe it or not. This is something that happens fairly often.
I mean, I guess I feel like it's a little bit different now because of technology. Like, there's a lot of shit banned in China. This would be banned for other reasons. Like,
well, not the comic book. They're worried about the Loki series.
No, I'm talking about the series in general. Could be banned for anything. Going against government, like, there's a lot of shit that's banned in China. Like, a lot. Not just LB.
No. I get what you're 1,000% right. Okay. But I think that there's this. What they're saying is this is just the theory. I don't know why they removed it. I don't think it makes any sense to do it. Loki has, he's always been super eccentric and very much has always seemed to be both into men and women.
Yeah.
So this, I don't know why they took it off, but that has just been
the assumption. Mm-hmm. You know what assuming.
You make an ass out of you.
And me.
Well, not me. Fuck that noise. I don't want to be an ass. All right. So next up we have the Venom trailer. I thought some of it was funny, but honestly, I was kind of meh for the most part. I think Woody Harrelson is going to be awesome, but other than that, I don't really have any
reservations.
Yeah.
It doesn't look bad.
It looks better than the last one. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I don't have much hope though that it will be. I feel like it's going to be just like the last one. The only good scenes are going to be what they showed in the previews.
Yeah. So I was talking to Steve Van Sampson and a bunch of other people, and everyone has just been like, meh. And I know the biggest concern with people was the idea that they're making this too silly, because the Venom character itself isn't necessarily silly. There are some, humorous moments because there's always going to be levity in comic books and comic book shows. But the idea was just like his Venom suit was just too childish and like too goofy, and it takes away from the ruthlessness that can be Venom.
Again, they're trying to make his character likable, at the same time still having him be like villainous.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. What I don't get about it is Venom was always a likable character. You know what I mean? Like people loved him for what he was. And he
yeah,
wasn't
but
like
you have to think about. So these shows now are not just about catering to people who know the comics and the TV. It's catered to people who don't, because they're making shit tons of money off of that. Like right now, like the fact that the general population is getting into this. I mean, they still don't read the comics, but they're getting into the comic movies and like I know a lot of people who are super into the comic movies who have never picked up a comic book in their life and like would talk shit about people. You know, like I think they're trying to cater to all audiences,
which is a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But I will. Let's go back to Invincible. They managed to. The creative team managed to keep really close to the source material, change some things, stay true to the characters, without having to kind of play to an audience.
I get that, but it's also an animated series, and they don't expect the generalized public to watch an animated series. Anyway, it's going to be people like you who already know the series.
I agree.
Because a lot of people, adults, think that if you watch animation that you're like childish or immature or like whatever.
I agree and disagree only because it's been getting rave reviews online. Like people are actually talking about it. Like you can, like I'm on Twitter.
No, I know you. I'm not saying that it wouldn't, but that's like the thought process is like. But, okay, like these TV shows and movies, we have snagged in people who are not normally into this genre.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of people watching like animated series of comic stuff that are not comic.
I would agree. If this was 10 years ago, I'd agree. But because it's also on Amazon Prime and now people have the idea that people have the option of watching it whenever, and then they can get an actual preview and realize, oh, this isn't like my normal animated show. Because we've had so many animated shows, thanks to probably Adult Swim, showing that, like, hey, these shows can be more mature. Look at The Venture Brothers or Metalocalypse. Like,
again, but that draws in a certain type of person.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't draw in the general population. Whereas comic stuff has drawn in the general population on top of its regular.
So that's what I'm saying. So, like, because...
I have not heard one person that's not into comics talk about Invincible. The only people that I see talking about Invincible are people that are into comics.
All right, so let's
animation.
So let's switch it off and let's look at The Boys.
Okay.
The Boys can be the same thing. It's not an animated show.
But it's a live action show.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Now I'm comparing The Boys' creative team to Venom's creative team. The Boys did the same thing. Like the story changed, but the actual characters and what they look like and represent, it's essentially the same. Homelander was changed just a little bit, and as was. The characters were changed, but the actual base of the character
was still the same.
Yeah, remained the same. So it's almost like the people at Sony who are doing the Venom movies feel like they need to do what Marvel's doing. It's like there has to be a joke here. We have to Marvel ruins a lot of like somber moments that could be deep with like a joke. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. Brandon Powers, shout out to him, brought this up when he was discussing Avengers Endgame. That scene where Thor was like, "Just let me do this, let me do this." Like he's like, "What do you know? What runs through my veins?" And he goes, "Cheese whiz." It was funny as hell, but it kind of took away from this moment that was supposed to be like one of Thor's few non-jokeable scenes. You know what I mean? So it's just times like that. It just seemed like it. And hopefully, maybe it won't be as. I don't want to say childish. I think childish is the wrong word. Maybe it won't be as hysterical.
Kitschy, Yeah, like stupid little jokes.
Yeah, maybe it won't be as bad as that one.
It's like dad jokes.
Yeah, like, ketchup! What? And the ketchup goes there. It was like, come on. It was funny. I laughed. And then, like, Venom singing, like, this terrible song as he's cooking. It was funny. I did laugh both times I watched this trailer. I honestly think that Woody Harrelson's addition to this is going to balance it out. That's my hope, because Woody Harrelson's, we've known, is a great actor. And we always talk about him from Cheers in the 80s to seeing what he's become.
Mm-hmm.
What's that show? Natural Born Killers?
The movie?
Yeah. He's like, that was like, probably like, it was like, oh, he's not, what's his name from the barback from Cheers anymore.
I mean, that came well into his career, though. Like, well after Cheers. Like, he's been in other stuff, too, that...
Yeah. So, just a quick look at the movies he's done. Well, Zombieland's not really a great, what's the word I'm looking for? Representation of, like, him doing things that aren't necessarily goofy. But, again, it was a little more serious than that. Supposedly he was great in True Detective. The People versus Larry Flint, he's loved in that as well. So he's done a good amount of movies that aren't just, jokey. Solo, a Star Wars movie, he was good in that. He died way too soon. But, actually, I don't think he died to the end of the movie, think of it now. But that movie was completely forgettable, so who fucking knows? There was nothing about that movie I think that anyone gave a shit about. Alright, and lastly, we have something that both me and Valkyrie think is dope news. Well, as Valkyrie said before I hit pause, it's nothing that's actually definite yet, but Nora Baston to be named new Boston Police Commissioner. Dennis White's challenging the removal. This was reported by CBS Boston. Superintendent Nora Baston will be named the next Boston Police Commissioner, sources told WBZ-TV's I-Team. But the appointment is on hold as current Commissioner Dennis White, who was placed on administrative leave amid domestic violence allegations, filed a lawsuit to stop acting Mayor Kim Janey from firing him. I ask for our city's patience as we await the court's ruling, Janey said at news conference Friday. We cannot name a new commissioner until we deal with the current situation. White has been on administrative leave since February 3rd, 2 days after he was sworn in, because of a domestic violence incident with his ex-wife years ago. An independent investigator was hired to look into the decades-old allegations. Janey received the investigator's report April 29 and announced her decision at a news conference Friday. She said the investigation revealed a culture of fear and silence within the Boston Police Department. Shocking, right? With the officers refusing to talk to investigators. She went on to say, what is often referred to as the blue wall of silence was confirmed by one retired officer who said he received 5 phone calls directing him not to cooperate with the investigation, Janey said. It was clear from the report that we have to move in a different direction. She said that going forward, all candidates for department leadership will be subjected to vetting and background checks. Why that's just a thing?
So I was just going to say that. So like when you first interview to get into a police force, they do vet you. They look at your background. They do whatever. I have several friends that are officers. I have actually been interviewed by police chiefs on my friends' behalf as their characters and as to their character and like anything that they've had come up from, because they interview your exes and everything. Like they interview everybody. So I don't understand that if you've been on a police force for like a really long time and you're taking a position of power, why you would not be re-vetted to make sure there's nothing, poor on your jacket, like you haven't done something that's like inappropriate or gotten, in trouble for blah, 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 XYZ, ABC. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why that wasn't done if he was taking a higher position within the force. Like, why does vetting stop?
Because he's the male. If you want to be honest about it.
Like,
and he's a white passing male.
No, I mean, I just don't think it's because they don't do that. Like, once you're in. Like, there's no question. Which is weird to me that you wouldn't be, again, vetted again to make sure there's nothing on your even your work background that can be questionable. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, that was odd to me that it wasn't looked into. And because obviously this is an incident that happened in 1999 where a restraining order was actually placed by a judge on him in regards to his ex-wife and his daughter, who he was violent toward.
Allegedly.
And made threats to.
Allegedly. I don't want to get sued.
Huh?
I just keep saying allegedly because I don't want to get sued.
well, allegedly, I don't know. It's what the article says, like, and it's what the police report says, and I'm just.
Oh, then fucking.
I'm just talking about what has been written down for public viewing.
Oh, then fucking.
I guess I don't understand how that didn't come up before he was placed into the position.
I don't know, especially considering that you have to, like you said, because you have to be vetted in such a way before you become a police officer, you figure the same rules would apply.
Yeah, but and that's half of the problem with our whole fucking system is that once you're in, and you never get checked again. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
I mean,
even as a nurse, you have to do continuing education. Even as, like, a CNA, you have to do continuing education. Like, there's no reason why... That was your phone.
No, it's yeah, I got it.
There's no reason why, like,
the same rules shouldn't apply for a higher position.
Yeah, and in a police force. Like, do they do continuing ed like everybody else? Do they do, like, repeat trainings? Do they do, like... I don't know, because I don't know how the police department works. But in any case, like, things should be looked at, I feel like.
We've seen cases
if
where...
I had a domestic violence thing on me, I could... And I'm a nurse, I can lose my license.
Yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to practice as a nurse if you have any kind of assault against anyone. It doesn't matter, like, what it be, a child, an adult. It literally disqualifies you from being licensed because you're working with the general population and you're working with people. And if you have assault, then they don't allow you to work with people. And I guess I just don't understand how it's not the same when you're talking about another position that gives you such power and gives you...
So let's get into something else, because you brought up as we brought up.
Like, I don't understand how there's not more restrictions.
So Minneapolis police officer at the center of George Floyd's death had a history of complaints. So now they're putting him on Fed case. Let me just read it. Minneapolis police officer seen kneeling on the back of an unarmed black man, innocent black man, heard saying "I can't breathe" multiple times before he died, was a 19-year department veteran who was the subject of dozens of police conduct complaints that resulted in no disciplinary action and that led to a letter of reprimand. The officer, who was praised for valor during his career, also once fired his weapon during an encounter with a suspect, records show. So it's like these are things that, like, these are things that should be taken into consideration when you're putting certain things. There have been multiple situations like this where I forget the asshole when they moved him from one place to another. I think it was the situation happened in Baltimore, or maybe it was Atlanta. But he had a history of like being overly aggressive, and they just moved him to another state.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Vatican. Like, you just move the priests around and let them molest children. And as the townfolk become aware of it, you just move them somewhere else. Instead of dealing with the problem. It's the same thing. Like, everything gets swept under the rug and people are allowed to do fucked up shit because, oh, well, he's an officer, so it must be the other person's fault. It must be something. And what I don't understand is that how even other officers can't look at that and be like, no, bro, he's aggressive. Like, or no. Like, I have worked in the medical field for years. Same thing. You cannot, if anything came up, like, you'd be fired and you'd lose your license for the state board. You can't be aggressive like that. You can't be, like, I couldn't go in aggressive at a patient and do something harmful and not lose my fucking license.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible. Like, this is the type of stuff that I don't understand. When you have multiple, then something needs to happen. Retraining should be happening.
Oh my God! Stop right there. If for nothing else, there needs to be retraining. Doctors do it. There's multiple. We found out different things about the human body almost monthly. Nurses get retrained. In my job, I get retrained. Like, you know what I mean? That is one of the things that really annoys me, is that when you say, well, they need retraining. Well, they need to be trained for. They're like, no, man. Like, you still have to go through classes. Like, things change. We find better ways. Like, literally, like, we find better ways to deal with people psychologically. Like, You know what I mean?
No, there should always be continuing. Anybody who's in any profession and thinks that it ends in where it starts shouldn't probably be in that position. There's always room for growth and change and development. No one is above learning something new. And when you get to that precedent where you decide that you know fucking everything, then that's a problem. Because things change literally all the time. Like, expectations change. Like, we learn new things through research and learn that, you know, maybe this tactic that we used to think worked doesn't work. We've learned it through trial and error. We've learned it through research. We've learned it through whatever, like experience. So, like, as time changes, like, everything should be changing with it. Everything should be changing and growing.
The one thing constant in life is change.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I got the quote right, but that's 100% true. Like, that's the one thing constant in life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, things are going to change. Like,
yeah.
And I honestly feel that, like, what's the, I'm pretty sure this is a regular quote, but I got this from Spider-Man. There was a series called Evolve or Die. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. Like, do you want to be I'm not the same person I was a month ago. Do you want to be that same person? Do you not want to grow? Like, look at Greg. Greg's not the same person he was like a year ago. He's not the same person he was when I met him 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there's absolute, like, you know what I mean? Like, people grow. People become different people. Mm-hmm. I just and
sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad.
Exactly.
And again, that's why, like, if you're going for a higher position and you're being whatever, you should be vetted again. Like, everything should be looked at again. Because shit like this happens. Things that you did, abuse of power, whatever, you shouldn't be put into a higher position if you're not being vetted to make sure that you're not doing fucked up shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just odd to me that they don't have to be vetted again. I don't know. That's weird. If I go for a higher position, they're going to look at all my work history, all my stuff. Like, I don't get how it doesn't work the same as it does in every other fucking job and field. Like, I don't get how you just get to bypass, like, all of that. And you're like, yep, you can go in.
When you're in a position of privilege, you can do whatever you do. That's what it comes down to. So, a couple things. I have questions and comments from listeners. We have a faithful listener, Fletchmo. He asked them, I posted something that said, feel cute, may record later. What's on your mind?
Fee cute.
I know. Fee cute. Be cute, may record later. And Fletchmo goes, fuel hoarders causing the gas shortage. They were preparing for.
Oh my god! So I saw this lady's post, right? Like, speaking of this, these people are fucking ridiculous. They're like, oh, Biden's been in office for whatever amount of time, and it's already starting to go downhill. Okay, so the system was hacked. That has nothing to do with the presidency, you fucking moron. Like, that's not how that works. The system was fucking hacked, and it was hacked because it's privatized instead of being monitored like it should be. But no, it's because white men make money off of gas and oil. Like, it's privatized. Like, it has nothing to do with our government. It has everything to do with it being hacked. COVID changes the way things are delivered and processed. Like, a lot of things happened over the last couple of years that caused, oh, now we're having this and now we're having that. I wish I would have screenshotted it, because she made all these irrational, ridiculous friggin' comments, and I was like, is this lady for real? You do understand, that's not how this works. That's not what's going on. You can't complain about something and not know all the details and facts and then just make it about someone when it's not. It literally made zero sense.
So I decided to go to Twitter and see what people are posting when it says gas shortage. And someone posted a picture of hemp.
Well,
because
we can make sustainable fuel and we don't, because it's all about fucking money. Nobody gives a fuck. It's all about money. It's all about, we have synthetic.
So somebody just posted, terrifying to think that hackers thousands of miles away can push some buttons on a computer and cause gas shortage in the U.S. And they can do a lot worse. Good thing our intelligence community is busy promoting diversity and inclusion. That'll keep us safe for sure.
I mean, I don't know if that was...
No, it's not. That guy's a moron, too. They said gas shortage, so Americans drove straight to the gas station to finish the job.
That's because Americans are fucking gluttonous, greedy people.
Dog, I saw somebody putting gas in a plastic bag. I thought it was a joke, and then someone who lives in the South was like, "Nah, they're doing that down here."
But like, how? How does that not eat through the fucking bag? It's gonna. Like, you can't leave it like that. It's highly toxic. And it's fucking retarded because if you get into one car accident, you're dead. The whole fucking car blows up. People are dumb. People are stupid. And now we're gonna cause an even more shortage because people are literally running to gas stations and fucking filling up like hundreds of gallons of gas into containers. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just like the toilet paper. Like, why? For why? Why are we hoarding all of it? It's selfishness.
Right wing goes nuts over gas shortage. I think that should be, that might be what I call it.
What?
Right wing goes nuts over gas shortage.
But they're all trying to blame it on something that it's not, which is hysterical because it was a fucking hack.
Yeah.
Because it's privatized. Where is your argument? I don't understand it. Like, when dumb people say dumb shit, it drives me insane. It's like, do you know how this works? This is not how that works. Like, it's not, gas is not controlled by our government. And it was a major privatized gas company that is having the issue. A company that's located in the United States. Made by America. Like, people are dumb. They're dumb. I hate fucking stupid people.
One more tweet before we go with the next topic. One gas shortage, y'all got me buying unfrosted Pop-Tarts. I'm sorry, I thought that was fucking hilarious.
I can't.
And lastly, I don't have the gentleman's name, but he wanted me to bring up ECW wrestling legend New Jack, who was one of the most extreme people in wrestling history. He was a fucking lunatic. He was a crazy, crazy person. And the fact that he lived to be 58 is probably the most shocking thing about all this.
Why?
Well, one, that nobody killed him. Two, that he just does the craziest shit in the world. So, let me read the story. Following ECW's close. No, that's not it. Okay, here we go. Following ECW's closing, New Jack went to Extreme Pro Wrestling, and his feud with Grimes was reignited when Grimes surprisingly attacked New Jack from behind with a guitar at Payback's A Bitch event. New Jack's involved in a verbal dispute with XPW CEO Rob Black when Grimes appeared through the mat under the ring and attacked New Jack, aligning him with Black's faction, the Black Army. The beginning of that newly ignited feud featured both men in a tag match, with Grimes teaming with the Messiah and New Jack aligning himself with the Supreme. During the match, New Jack was powerbombed by Grimes through a flaming table, and New Jack was on fire for over 10 seconds. One other major points of the feud featured New Jack diving off of the Los Angeles Grand Olympic Auditorium balcony over 30 feet onto two tables with Grimes on top at Redemption May 2001. As well as here's a good part. As well as Grimes throwing New Jack off the same balcony through many tables stacked below at New Year's Revolution in 2002. Now, here's the part where it gets interesting. The feud culminated back in 2002 in a scaffolding match. Towards the end of the match, Jack broke the scaffolding and legitimately shot Grimes with a taser before throwing Grimes from the scaffolding and sending him crashing 40 feet below, over 12 tables stacked on each top of each other. The fall, but Grimes missed, but two of them, and came within less than a foot of missing the ring completely. Grimes broke his fall on top of the rope, dislocating his ankles and suffering multiple other injuries in the process. In the 2000 documentary Forever Hardcore, New Jack claimed that his intentions were to throw Grimes so hard that he would fall headfirst onto a steel turnbuckle and die, as retaliation for the now infamous Danbury fall at Living Dangers in 2001. He was a nut job.
How did he have a heart attack at 58, though? Being that physically fit, I wonder how he had a heart attack at 58.
I don't know.
Did he ever use steroids?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
I mean, he might have just eaten like shit, but worked out all the time.
That could also be true.
I was just wondering, like, he was young to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, being, like...
So this is what this dude's head looked like from the shit that he used to get hit with. It literally looks like his brain is popping out of his head. That is all scar tissue, and that is gross. So this has been the Old Man Wade Show. I want to thank Valkyrie for joining me here. You can find me on oldmanwade.com on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the Culture Comic Book News podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio, and I believe Spreaker. You can find the Superior Super Bowl Coffee and myself on the Facebook page, The Old Man Wade Show. I want to thank everybody who participates, everybody who comments, everyone who likes, and everyone who shares the stuff that we go on there. Thank you for your comments, and thank you all for being here. Until next time, peace.
Damn it, Wade!